How about the Oklahoma Sooners, my man?
So, yeah, everybody knows at this point. I've been a big backer of this team before the season, and in the first couple of weeks, I've been gassing them up, and, I've been catching shit for it. So, takeaways from this game. Brent Venables, him. Absolutely him. He's turned around the defense. They look fantastic. Dylan Gabriel, everybody laughed at me for saying he was a Heisman candidate. Look up in the race and see who's in there now, because he was incredible. And then the most important part that nobody wanted to talk about before the season. Who's the coach that got out-coached in this game?
I mean, it wasn't even close.
Coach circles around him.
Not only did the Vikings have to beat the Chiefs last night, they got to beat the refs. I don't get it. But I probably won't be fading the Chiefs anymore this season. The NFL's got an agenda, and that's get T Swift to the Super Bowl.
You don't table for it.
Man, I fucking love Georgia. I think this line is crazy. This spread is telling, in my opinion, and it tells me Georgia is going to kick the shit out of them.
Damn, brand new bag for pro, but I didn't pay for it. I don't like spending that cash because I'm trying to.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Tuesday, episode 341 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two co-hosts, Krabs and Javon, presented by Props.Cash. If you guys aren't using Props.Cash to cash more prize picks entries, what are you doing? You live under a rock. Go download Props.Cash and use our promo code to get 20% off your first month. Javon, the 49ers were simply not it last night.
Negative.
That's a negative. That was maybe one of the worst bets of all time. And there were a lot of those last night. I mean, Trent did the impossible. I think he took every favor on the board yesterday and lost every single one. We didn't do much better. I'll be honest with you, chat. And yeah, CMC, 16 straight tutties. We probably should have just made that the squad ride. CMC, ATTS at -200. I'm sure that would have went over very well. As we get a Lenbong subby to pick the vibes up after a moose shit squad ride. Lenbong, that's exactly what we need. This is why we do it for you. He gets it. Okay, he simply gets it. Javon, we're not going to waste any time here. We got plenty of sports, plenty of games to go over for today. We're going to go over the Arizona-Philly Game 7. That's going to be absolutely electric tonight. We've got Conference USA football. Don't get too excited, Javon. Two great games we're going to go over today from the Conference USA. And we've got NBA opening night, chat. I know some of you guys are fucking stoked. It's like Christmas morning when the NBA starts up. I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but we're definitely going to be covering it and going over plays for tonight 100%. In chat, we're going to get Chelly on here as well towards the end and have him go over some WNHL plays. We've got an absolutely loaded NHL slate today. Very stoked to go over that and get Chelly on here towards the end to find winners. Okay, he came on here last week and he spoon-fed winners left and right. It was like unbelievable. He was giving the people freebies. All right, we're going to listen up. We're going to get Chelly on here and we're going to get Javon's camera fixed here in 1 moment. Would you look at that, chat? We got Ron Mux Clam coming in with a subby. We got Javon back in the flesh. W's. Love to see it, boys. Let's go ahead and hop right in. And let me start bitching about the 49ers, guys. Where was freaking Nick Bosa last night? Let's show the recaps. Let's get them over with, Goots. They were ugly. Okay, that's a lot of red around my plays there, folks. Adolis Garcia. Yep, that should be a good luck fading his RBI. Don't know why that was up, but it was probably the freest square ever if he took the more than didn't try to get cute and fade him. That guy is unbelievable. There's some hitters, there's some players that you just don't fade, and that's on me for trying to get cute there. It was never fading Garcia. Ever. That guy is on top of the world right now. He's literally the best hitter in baseball right this second. He's going in there with confidence, and he's hitting a nuke every fucking game. So that was a new shit bets. Brock Purdy, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Probably should have hit with the game script, but it didn't because he threw 2 picks. Hate to see it. And then, yeah, that's San Fran and Buffalo teaser. Yeah, guys, if you're scared about laying the 7 points here with San Fran, I got a deal for you. You just take them on the ML and you parlay that with Buffalo on a teaser. That should hit. Not. That was the worst bet on the freaking board there last night trying to get cute. I knew as soon as I tried to tease or make a 2-man parlay, Javon, it was never the answer. It never is. Because if I'm trying to get cute and do that, I'm not confident enough in that side already to bet it. I should just stay away and be patient like a grasshopper. Instead, I got cute and I got a loser on the board there with the San Fran and Buffalo teaser. Javon, you did your job relatively. It wasn't the Niners, but you did hit 2 of your other best bets, so W's there.
Yeah, slight W's. Kittle Sword and the Habs, a little plus 165 ML dub. That was huge. A little duck in piece,
Sure.
but certainly was never the Niners.
Yeah, it's a bounce back day, chat. You guys get it. It's going to be a sweep from me on my end. Okay, I'm coming in hot with some winners left and right. All right, be prepared because they're out there. And I think I found a couple that I really like today. Javon, I got to ask you, man, what the heck was Nick Bosa doing last night? I didn't hear his name called, I don't think, once on the field. Was he even there?
I don't know. You got to give a little bit of credit to the Vikings offensive line. I mean, when you have Kirk Cousins, who I think is playing still, I stand on this and I've said this multiple times, some of the best football of his career, you give the guy any bit of time and you give him like a somewhat supportive run game, which they brought Cam Akers in and he actually looked somewhat efficient, unlike Madison's looked for a majority of the season. You do those things, Kirk Cousins can be pretty damn good. And he is certainly not the reason they've lost a lot of these football games this year. So, and this whole team is clicking. Yes, the Niners were a little lackluster, but I think we saw the ceiling of the Vikings if everything is going well, especially on the offensive line.
I mean, the Vikings are back. They are now, what, 2-4? Javon, are they 3-4 or 2-4, I believe? 2-4.
I think 3, right?
Somebody in chat, what is their record? I believe they're 3-4 now.
3-4.
They're so back. The Vikings were. I mean, that was a must-win game. I don't know if you guys saw the post-game pressers, but Kirk Cousins, Kevin O'Connell, who, by the way, is a great young coach. Of course, he came from the Commanders. Can't make it up. All the best young coaches do. They said great points, talking about how before the season they had this game circled, saying, we're going to have to play our best football to win this game. And what did they do? Javon, they played their best football. Kirk Cousins did. Their wide receivers stepped up with no Jay Jettas. Their O-line balled out. I mean, shout out Christian Darrisaw. I mean, holding down that line, my goodness. A bunch of no-names, a bunch of young guys, Javon, for the most part, and they held solid against the best D-line in football, one of the best D-lines in football. Fred Warner was limited in his, successes, although he was also banged up late in that game. And the 49ers secondary got absolutely obliterated and torched by Kirk Cousins, who had one of the best, third down performances I've ever seen. Ever. I mean, he turned into Eli Manning last night. You guys ever get those vibes with Kirk Cousins when you're watching him out there? Like it's vintage Eli when he would lock in and just have a crazy game where he would take over and win it for the Giants. I feel like Kirk Cousins gives me Eli vibes a little bit. Do you guys agree with that take? He turns into Eli like once a month and just has that game where nobody's getting in his way. It doesn't matter who they're playing. I mean, Javon, did you see him sneaking out of the pocket last night in the fourth quarter, somehow evading these crazy D linemen and pulling out these 25-yard throws right on the money? He was locked. Yeah, you like that, chat? Kirk was liking that, and so were the Vikings. He was dialed last night, and I don't disagree with the comments from what people were saying after the game. I forget who it was, but it might have been Troy Aikman talking about Kirk Cousins being a top 10 QB in his book. I think Kirk Cousins is probably a top 10 QB at this point. I would want him on my team.
See the chain that Jay Jettas put on at the end of the game?
The SportsCenter top 10 chain? Of course I saw that. Sure, top 10 QB. Bro, I think he's a top 10 QB. I really do. I mean, I would want him on my team. That's probably not saying much with the Manders, but Javon, I mean, maybe you're a little less biased here because he wasn't, drafted by your team. You didn't grow up rooting for him and wish he was still on your squad. Wouldn't you want him on your fucking team? There can't be 10 other QBs you'd rather have than Kirk Cousins. Come on.
I mean, if you're asking me, Baker Mayfield's my quarterback, at least for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
So you'd rather have him on your team, obviously, but do you think he's a top 10 QB?
He's right around there, yeah. I mean, I'm a Kirk Cousins guy, and I know you had that conversation yesterday, but I wasn't in here yet. We got to start talking about Justin Herbert now. Just because he can throw the ball hard and far, he's not nearly in the elite QB tier that everybody thinks he is. But conversation for another day. I think Kirk Cousins is kind of the opposite of that, a little underrated because he's just on the surface, I guess, for a couple of years of his career, just looked like a game manager. But when you give a guy time, you give a guy weapons, like he's had, in certain spots, a lot last year and somewhat this year, he's a really good quarterback. So, I mean, despite the one bias that I might have, which is actually the opposite of him, is that you like that game was against the Bucs too. So, if anything, I'm rolling the other way. I love Kirk.
Okay. Kirk and O'Connell, that could be a pretty damn good partnership down the line. O'Connell's air raid offense starting to click, even without Jay Jettas out there. And yeah, real Nicky Gambles, what are you seeing out there about Ron? I feel like if they would have done it, it would have been done yesterday. I feel like coaches typically get fired the day after the game, but let me know what you're hearing. I need the inside scoop. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving. We'll do the A team and B team recap, which was some of our worst work ever. Got to flash it. W transparency. It was never fading Garcia, and it was never taking Brock Purdy. I'll tell you that much. More than 1.5 passing tutties. We'll go ahead and take a peep at the B team too. It was a bloodbath out there, folks. It really was. Javier got 1 walk, I believe. Scherzer only had about 2 Ks. I think Madison smacked, but 1 for 3 is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. Chat, we're coming for blood today. Plain and simple. All right, get this freaking shitty entry off my screen, dudes. Get that shit out of here. Let's talk about the Rangers real quick. I mean, unbelievable run from the Rangers. And how about the Astros melting again? I mean, look, this is a crazy stat. I brought this up yesterday before the game, talking about how every road team has won in this series, Javon. The only other time we've ever seen this in any of the other major sports, like it's saying on this graphic that I took a screenshot of on SportsCenter last night, was when my Nats did this in 2019. W cashed the -300 Nats mentioned today on BTL. But look what happened again. Houston in a weird series where the away team wins every single game. What's up with Houston? They can't win at home in the postseason when it matters? And is the Dusty Baker chirping, is that accredited? Is that, a realistic thing to be doing right now, Javon? Does he deserve to get chirped for not being able to come through in a Game 7 ever?
I mean, to a degree. I mean, he's never been able to do it. But at the same time, like I look at both these playoff runs with the Nats and the Rangers, they just ran into a buzzsaw of a pretty hot team. And obviously, when you get to the World Series, it's a little different of a story. But this is a Rangers team who, Houston and really everybody in that division has had their number for a majority of years here now. Much different team. They dumped, $700 million or whatever it was into this team. They're significantly improved. Now they're playing well. I mean, it's tough. And you said it yourself, too. There's just something about this Astros team that they're missing. Like, you could tell it wasn't the same as previous years. And like we targeted all season, it was really the pitching. And I'll keep bringing this up because I was pretty right in saying this. After we got through Game 2, there was not a single under in the series. And you look at the Astros coming into the season, it's Christian Javier, it's Framber Valdez, it's even Hunter Brown, who everybody was pretty high on, myself included, coming into the season. Nobody was really dominant outside of a handful of games, and it kind of showed in the end. So he fell apart. The bullpen wasn't dominant. They all fell apart really all season and most of this run too. It's just they didn't have it this year.
They didn't have the juice. It was clear, and they got beat. Maybe we see the Rangers get their first ever World Series. They're dead. They are. Chat, who's knocking off the hottest team in baseball right now? The way the Phillies and the Arizona D-back series is going, I mean, this is like a freaking absolute bloodbath out there. Are either of those two teams going to have enough juice to overcome the Rangers and that red-hot offense in the World Series? I don't know. Right now, I'm feeling like the Rangers are going to beat whichever team comes out of the NL, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. And chat, we'll talk plenty about this Arizona-Philly game today. How about Adolis Garcia being the best player in baseball on the planet right now, just hitting nukes left and right? He had 5 home runs in his last 4 games, I believe. Unbelievable run, MVP of the series as he should be. The guy was unconscious up there. I can't tell you why they were pitching to him. I mean, they were pitching to him when there was open bases. I don't understand. Dusty Baker, get your fucking head out of the gutter, man. Why are you throwing strikes to this guy when you have an open base at all with how hot he's been? I don't know, but it cost him, and that wasn't the only guy doing damage. I mean, Corey Seager got it going early. That game was over in the first inning. You guys could feel it, right? The Rangers had that game won through the first, straight up. That game was toast. You could just literally sense it. It's the Rangers' year, just like it was with the Phillies last year going to the World Series. Maybe they'll do it, Javon. Maybe they'll finally rip the Band-Aid off and win a World Series. I don't know. We'll see. And Dusty had a great career as well. I'm pretty sure he's hanging up the cleats with SBR. He might not be able to accomplish a Game 7, but he was a great manager, Dusty Baker, and he invented the high five. Very cool dude. So I'll tip my cap there. Javon, one more thing until we dive into this Arizona-Philly game for today. Guys, can we leave Mattress Mac alone? I feel like he's been through enough. This poor old man, I mean, look, I know he's signing up for it. He's probably agreeing to do all this stuff with BR betting or whatever, but can we get the camera out of the guy's face for 5 seconds here, folks? I mean, he has to watch Adolis Garcia hit 2 home runs in a game or, literally get a hit every time he goes up there and see the Rangers beat the Astros by 10 runs and you stick the camera right in his face after. The guy looks like he's about to shit his pants watching this game right in front of him. I mean, if I was him, I'd probably be heading home, especially if the BR guys were shoving the camera in my face after this Garcia nuke. I mean, look at this poor guy. Can we let him be? Can we let him be? I feel like, just filming Mattress Mac in absolute piss, doing nothing, and then getting sad and dropping his head. Can that bit be over? Can we leave the old man alone? Oh, it's so sad to watch, bro. He lost $4 million or $3 million. Apparently it was more. Some people were saying like 5 or 6. Let the guy be. All right. We know he's not actually in that much piss. He fucking hedges his furniture deals with these bets, right? And ends up getting tax write-offs when they lose anyways. The guy's a smart businessman. He knows what he's doing. But I'm tired of seeing the camera shoved in this old man's face after watching his team get crushed again and again and again. It's getting sad at this point to me. I'm done with it. Leave him alone. Maybe I'm alone on this one, and yeah, Mattress Mac, this is what he's going to see in his nightmares from last night. Literally, Adolis Garcia hitting nukes right in front of him, the ref cam. But God, can we let Mattress Mac just hang him up and leave the guy alone? He's losing his coins. Enough is enough here. The guy's about to cry on camera, and you're fucking shoving it in his face right there. I hate it. What a bit.
Let's leave it be. Oh. It was a funny bit, I guess, for the first couple of times, but we've seen the Astros in the World Series are getting close to it for however many years now, and I'm so fed up of seeing it.
I'm so done with it. Like, let the guy be. He just sits there, does nothing, and he gets really sad, and I'm tired of seeing it. Straight up.
Yeah.
Pawpaw's in piss. Yeah, guys. Nima needs to take him home. All right. Chat, let's keep moving and grooving. Let's hop into Arizona, Philly. We're going to go over this game first, and then we're going to do college football. We'll do NBA as well for the opening night, and then we'll get Chelly on here for NHL. Looks like a D-backs fan has offered Trent a rack to bet on the Phillies tonight. Wow. That's how much this game matters to him. You got to respect it. I was geeking at that tweet from Trent last night. Taking offers from Phillies fans to not bet on them tomorrow. I'll start the betting at 500. I thought that was pretty funny. I would not be shocked if this is real. And there's a fan out there, Javon, who wants this win so fucking bad he's willing to pay Trent a rack to just fade his team. I would not be shocked.
So funny.
So funny. Unbelievable. I mean, guys, if you haven't figured it out by now, I think Trent might have superpowers. Straight. After last night, man, what are we doing?
Who knows?
It could be D-backs dad. Rumor has it. It could be.
Yeah, it could be D-backs dad.
Could be D-backs dad.
We could bounce back and have a W card.
Hey, I'm rooting for it. I'm not rooting against them. I'm rooting for it. All right. And yeah, chat, we'll have the Surge stream right after this in about an hour, a little bit more. And then we're dropping the pod as well in a couple hours too, guys. So make sure you check out the We'll Be Seeing pod, which drops here in a few. And we'll have a W Surge stream after this as well. All right, so stick around. Make sure you guys are downloading props.cash and using our promo code BOOKIT for 20% off your first month, okay? If you've been struggling on Prize Picks, the one thing that could help you out for sure is props.cash. All right, it links up perfectly with Prize Picks. If you're using Prize Picks every day and you're not using props.cash, you are a step behind. All right, at least go check it out and download it and use our promo code if you want some coins off, okay? Javon, let's talk about the Arizona and Philly Game 7. We're blessed with another electric Game 7. I hope this one's a little bit tighter than last night's was, but we'll see. I mean, I can see some runs in this matchup. We're seeing both pitchers at 11 pitching outs, I believe, Javon, in this one. Not surprised there. I saw some people last night in Night Sweats chat a little confused about why these guys were getting pulled a little bit early. If you guys aren't big baseball heads, just know that in a Game 7 or an elimination game with their backs against the wall, these teams will yank their starters, no matter how big their names are, early and often if they need to, especially with their bullpens fresh. So you might see these guys getting pulled in the third or fourth inning, even if they're pitching okay. And I'll tell you what, Javon, one of my favorite angles today, although I don't think Fott pitches atrocious, I'm not willing to bet him to pitch, another 10 strikeout gem like he did in his last outing against his team. But I think Fott will pitch okay, but I do think he will have the shortest of leashes out of either of these two starting pitchers today. We saw Merrill Kelly get yanked very early yesterday, and him and his coach kind of chirping in the dugout, and then his coach chirping back and yelling at him before they both walked, different ways. I'm assuming the game plan was before the game that they let Merrill know that he was going to have the shortest of leashes, and they were going to pull him as soon as there was any sort of doubt where he didn't have his best stuff in that game still. And I think Arizona will have the same game plan today after last night. That worked. They pulled Merrill early. They went to their bullpen in the 6th, and it panned out, and it worked for them. They got a win. I don't see how they don't do anything differently with that today and then throw those same guys from the bullpen extended innings if they need to, because this is a must-win spot here. Arizona has a chance to go to the fucking World Series. So I think they're going to be pulling fat early, probably in the third inning, maybe even before that if he gets in any sort of trouble, Javon. And I love his less than 11 pitching outs in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think he pitches really well today, to be honest with you. But I do think they're going to be very cautious, especially because on the back end, just like you saw the Rangers bring out Jordan Montgomery and a couple of guys back there. They have guys who've been there before. Brandon Pfaadt hasn't been there before, and that's the option they have coming out of the pen. So if he does start to have slightly shaky command, which is his one bite him in the ass issue, they're going to pull him very quickly, and they won't be afraid kind of before he gets into trouble and before you get too late there. But I think the pitch is all right. I just don't think they'll be wanting him to see the top of that lineup if he starts.
Like, I'd be surprised if they want him to go through the lineup a second time in general. I would not be shocked if they pull him after 9 outs straight up. I don't see why you need to keep him out there. He's done enough. He's a freaking rookie who's been overperforming his ass off, and he's coming off a gem against his team. I think as soon as it gets sketchy, which it will, because it's a game 7 in the freaking NLCS, guys, give me a break. We know this game's going to get weird. As soon as it does, as soon as he walks somebody or gets 2 guys on base, he's out of here, and that could be in the 3rd inning. Okay? I love that prize pick square. I do.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they use Joe Mantiply too, because that's kind of their key. Because when they turn over the top of the lineup, obviously you see Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, 2 pretty key lefties there. So I don't know if they want to save him towards the end of the game or if they just want to leave, the actual back end guys like Seawald back there, who I can 100% assume is going to pitch again after pitching yesterday. But he's probably the guy that I would watch out for the most to come in after Pfaadt, especially if it's straight at the end of the lineup through the 9.
Yeah, dude. They might not have, the chance to be able to wait and put Mantiply in. They might have to put him in there for the top.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's a guy who they've used as an opener or in the beginning of games too. So it's not like he has to go, an inning for certain. It's not like they've really extended him all that much. Over the past handful of starts, like in the playoffs or just appearances in general, but they know they have that possibility because they've opened that earlier in the season. So I wouldn't be shocked even if Pfaadt is pitching pretty decently today, they go to Joe Mantiply when that lineup turns over.
Okay. Yeah, I would not be either. That's why I love his less than 11 pitching outs on prize picks. Probably my favorite square today. We got Jay Vale coming in with a subby. Let's go, Jay Vale. 4 months. Love to see it. W's. Javon, who's winning this game today? Is it the Snakes? Is it the Phillies? Price aside, who do you see advancing to the World Series from the NL?
Kind of like the D-backs again in the same.
Yep.
I mean, in no world am I laying minus 175 in this situation. The series, I've said that for the last couple games. I just you can't do it. But also, like in this spot, like this feels like a D-backs little piecemeal with Pfaadt in their bullpen that sets up pretty well. Like I said with Mantiply, they're able to match up pretty well every time through the lineup with the Phillies, and then they have the guys in the back end who have started to pitch really, really well with Ginkel and Seawald there. So, I trust this D-backs pitching staff, which is something that I didn't think I could say earlier in the season. And yes, you're getting the bank tax or whatever at the Phillies at minus 175. It's impossible for them to lose back-to-back games there, whatever. I don't think it all matters with the D-backs in the spots. I mean, I'm going to.
Okay. Yeah, Gavin Gould's better be on the Snakes, 100%.
Oh, yeah. He might have pre-bet the Snakes. He knew this was going 7. He pre-bet them every game this year.
He bet them to win in game 7. He already knows.
100%.
Yeah, I loves betting the Snakes. Absolutely loves it. And right now he's probably rich because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Javon, any prize pick squares we like in this game? The total, I think, opened up at 8.5 briefly, and now it's down to 8 with maybe a little bit of juice on the over. Both these guys are going to have extremely short leashes, like we talked about. Both their pitching outs are at 11 on prize picks. So that should go and show you how we think they're going to pitch today. They're probably going to get in a little bit of trouble, maybe be a little bit nervous in the game 7. And as soon as they walk somebody or give up a hit, they're going to get yanked way earlier than anybody expects, because both these guys, I believe, are coming off of absolute gem pieces in their last outings, and they both been doing their jobs on the mounds. But it does not matter in a game 7, chats. They're going to be pulling these guys for matchups and pulling guys out of their bullpen who are fresh way earlier than expected. But Javon, I think probably that thought pitching out square is the best angle to back for a pitcher? Are there any hitters you want to back in this game?
No hitters that I love to back. I mean, if you're talking about just taking along with what's been happening in this series, I can't hate anybody for continuing to back Ketel Marte, especially since I would assume he's going to be leading off like he has against lefties for the most part, or at least hitting up there, of course. But even if they come out of the bullpen with a handful of guys, because he may only see Ranger Suarez twice, if that. I love his matchups against a lot of those guys, and it's guys he's seen and had success against really the entire series. So if we're back in a hot bat, I feel like you can certainly get away with that. The hit run RBI square you got there, but I don't want to get too cute with a lot of hitters in this game because I like the way the bullpens are going to match up against the assortment of guys for this lineup. So it feels like a game pretty similar to yesterday without maybe the gap or discrepancy there.
Well, I'm just going to say it, Javon. Is it the Yurfie in this game? Why is that square up with these two guys who are so dialed on the mound? They did not give up a run in the first inning. The last time they started, that game was 2-1, by the way. And I don't think there was a run in that game until the 7th inning, the last time these two guys pitched against each other in this series, chat. And that totals down from 8.5 to 8. And now they're putting up that Yurfie-Nerfy square again, chat. It's got to be the Yurf.
Could be.
You know Javon's milk's tailing? Sure.
Crazy.
Philly 7-0 first inning, I bet. Because Suarez is about to get shelled. Danny's saying, yeah. Grabs, take a normal BP square or draw 25 cards. Yeah, I'll go ahead and draw. Rookie getting shelled. I don't know, guys. I don't think either guy is going to get shelled. I just think they're going to be wild, inconsistent, and probably yanked extremely early, if I'm being honest. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And maybe a Yurfie. The fact that this square is up is weird to me. It is. Javon, tell me I'm wrong. Correct me.
Don't think you're wrong, but I kind of like the D-backs to strike first in this game. So, I mean, I don't know when it's going to come, but I think it's going to be a slower start, I guess. I don't know if it comes in the first inning. So it's kind of not directly against the script that I want to happen or I'm hoping happens in this game, but I don't know. It's definitely weird that it is up. I'll give you that.
Is there any weird vibes with the first to score odds on the books for this game?
I mean, they're a little low, but nothing crazy. Like Ranger to get with first run, it's like just above a pick'em. So, I mean, he's favored, but not by that much.
Okay.
So it's not that weird. Ron mucking.
Let's go Ron. Another subby from Ron. Depth taxes and a Ron Mux Clam sub bang. You know that car reeks of Long John Silver's, bro. It has to. Absolutely has to. I know you guys are thinking it, chat. I'm just going to say it. Yep.
That's crazy.
Did Ron hit the drive-thru? No, he did not. No, he did not. That's all I'm going to say. We'll leave it there. All right. Chat. Chat, it's got to be the Snakes on the ML. It's got to be the Yurfie. It's got to be that thought less than 11 pitching outs. What else, Javon, before we move on to some electric Conference USA football?
Nothing much for me there the rest of this game.
Okay. All right, chat, we can always come back to it, but for now, let's move on to some CFB. All right, some college football action. We've got New Mexico State and Louisiana Tech, chat. Don't get too excited. Do not get too excited. I would, between these two teams, getting to watch them play. Both no shit, all jokes aside. We've got New Mexico State, who's been playing much better recently, Javon, I will say. And then once again, Louisiana Tech getting some respects. Don't really understand why. Maybe it's because they had a shitty transfer from Boise State at QB, but he's been playing terrible. I don't understand the respect here at all, to be honest with you, Javon. But I now am seeing Louisiana Tech back up to -3 from -2.5, where they pulled back earlier. I know they opened up a 4-point favorite. Initially got brought back all the way to 2.5-ish and now back up to 3. Diego Pavia has been balling. I mean, he looked like freaking Lamar Jackson last week. The dude absolutely dominated. Louisiana Tech has not been covering or winning at all. I mean, New Mexico State, their opponent tonight, is a covering machine. They're 6-2 ATS, Javon. They've covered 5 games in a row. They've won 4 out of their last 5 in big fashion, too. They're not just beating these teams in their conference. They are crushing them. And then you look over at Louisiana Tech and what they've been doing. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They've covered only 2 of their last 5. In their last 2 games against Middle Tennessee State and Western Kentucky, when they were +3 and +6, they lost by 8 and 7 points. So did not cover, didn't even really come close. Louisiana Tech has not impressed one bit. I feel like this was a team that odds makers were high on before the season, and they're continuously giving them respect on the lines. I don't understand it, but it's definitely catching my eye. Moving back to -3 here, Javon, with Louisiana Tech. I wouldn't be recommending or betting New Mexico State here.
Yeah, this is definitely a line that sticks out a little bit for Louisiana Tech, but I do still have in the back of my mind, like everything you've been saying, kind of the same thing with like TCU prior to last week, what they've done last year and the guys that they brought in. Louisiana Tech feels just like they've been getting respect all year from the books, and it hasn't really been panning out. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is a spot again where it kind of comes to bite the Sharps back in the ass. So I'll have no play here because I do think Louisiana Tech's defense should be good and disciplined enough to stop the rushing attack from New Mexico State, at least kind of slow down the explosive plays. I think Hank Bachmeier, too. I would assume he's still playing for them. Their quarterback situation has been really ridiculous in the last handful of weeks, but he should be set up for a pretty good day in the air. And I do think if he has a great game, then Louisiana Tech can lock down enough. It's like that's in the back of my mind, like the football side of everything that makes a little bit of sense. But I don't want to go to the grave with Louisiana Tech today. I'll tell you that.
Okay. But lean Louisiana Tech, lean the under in this game with that total down from 55.5 to 54.5. The splits on the under look pretty good. 36% of bets, 40% of handle on that under on VSiN. And if you look at the splits for the spreads, yes, New Mexico State is public. Not really surprising there. They're getting a little bit more than 50% of bets and handle on that spreads, and they're getting way more bets and handle on the ML. 62% of bets, 80% of handle coming in on New Mexico State ML at plus check. So definitely a public dog. Not really surprised to see them be a public dog with how well Pavia played in that last game. And honestly, with New Mexico State just rolling like they've really never done. This program, this team stinks, and they've covered 5 games in a row. I feel like this is a must fade for me on Louisiana Tech. Maybe they get right here at home and pull off a win, which they need like they need air. And maybe Brockmeyer has his first good game of the season. I mean, this guy, I'm not saying he was good. I'm not saying, I liked him at Boise State, but you're telling me this kid can't carve up a New Mexico State defense? Maybe not, honestly. But, I mean, with the spread, the way it's moving and where it's at right now with the splits, maybe he will. Maybe he will.
100% see it.
Yeah. All right, give me the under. Give me Louisiana Tech. Any prize pick squares in this game?
No.
Anything weird looking at you?
I was looking strictly to back Bachmeier, but we don't have that option exactly.
Yeah, not up there yet.
Pavia and
Chat, there'll be way more college squares going up later, I'm assuming.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully he's one of them. But
okay. Dubs,
yeah, I'm good.
Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about Liberty and Western Kentucky here, Javon. I like Western Kentucky coming off a loss against undefeated Liberty here tonight. 7-0 Liberty is. They're dominating this conference. This team has been pretty damn good for the last couple of years, and they're not slowing down. I mean, they're on a crazy win streak here to start the season, but if you've watched them play the last couple of weeks, even their game against Jacksonville State was a little bit weird before they pulled away late in that game. And then last week, they were 15.5-point favorites, and they barely snuck out a win against Middle Tennessee State, a team that showed a ton of heart and almost ended up beating them outright. But Liberty did get a win there, much needed, but they haven't covered 2 of the last 3 games they played in, Javon. And 2 of those games were against Middle Tennessee State and Sam Houston State, who I'm sure chat knows very well, stinks. Okay? Maybe Liberty's
in the year tomorrow.
I know what they're at tomorrow. They're a freaking favorites. God damn it. But looking at the games, I mean, Liberty has been slowing down a little bit. They're not destroying these teams like they were early on in the season. And then you got a Western Kentucky team who typically, dominates this conference and is much better than their 4-3 record this season, coming off a bad loss as 7.5-point favorites against Jacksonville State on the roads. Now they're home this week, and they get a chance to rebound against undefeated Liberty. Guys, the Conference USA standings are still wide open. Okay, this is a must-win game for Western Kentucky, and they could catch a Liberty team who's been lacking a little bit recently, not covering these spreads, barely pulling out lucky wins here on the roads. They could catch them sleeping. I wouldn't be surprised if they catch the big and bad Liberty Flames here sleeping, who is the best team in this conference. Don't get me wrong, but Austin Reed coming off a terrible game. I think he bounces back. I think I got to take the points here, plus 5.5 with Western Kentucky.
100%. I mean, last week we kind of looked past it a bit, but it looked like a little look ahead spot for Western Kentucky up against Jacksonville State there, where they're going on a road, super weird game. And not only did they not cover, but they lost outright in a really ugly performance. So after that, it's kind of an auto spot here to take them in the game they're looking ahead to at home against a team that's running this conference really for the past little bit, but especially this year. And now they're looking a little more vulnerable. They really haven't played. Liberty hasn't played many teams that can score with them. And Middle Tennessee was one of them that made that game really interesting. But other than that, they've faced some of the worst offenses in FBS football. So now that this Western Kentucky team is coming in with one of the most electric 1-2 punches in all of college football too, and especially in that conference, look out. This is a sneaky little spot for them after a huge letdown loss the week before now. So
where Malachi didn't do shit. Reed looked off in the pockets. I mean, just overall, Western Kentucky, not a great performance on the road against Jacksonville State, a new FBS team in their conference. They got to bounce back. And if you look at Austin Reed's passing yards, it's a little bit high. Looking at Quentin Cooley, who's a stud. Don't get me wrong, Liberty's running back, but he's coming off of 163 and 134 piece in his last two games, and he's set at 101.5. That looks pretty damn free against a struggling Western Kentucky team today, but that tells me that maybe Liberty's going to have to be passing the rock a little bit more today because they're going to be down in this game, potentially. If they're, I mean, how much higher can they put that Cooley prop up, Javon? I don't know how much higher they can put it than freaking 100 and change, but he's been tweaking like no other. And if you look at that square, it looks like the more than is free. I don't know if it is today against Western Kentucky, who's going to be playing their asses off after an embarrassing loss on the roads. They know this is a must-win spot if they want to stay relevant in the Conference USA standings this year and give themselves a chance to win a bowl game or go to a bowl game. It's a must-win spot. And with how Liberty's looked the last couple of weeks, I don't mind fading them one bit. I don't. W's.
Yeah, not at all. And what I want to back, big-time players in big-time games, a couple yards of a higher line than last week when he had one of his few like really off games of the season against a good pass defense. It's Malachi Cooley today.
Can we Mo stack them with Reed? Can we Mo stack?
We can, surely.
Why not, right? Why not stack Austin Reed pass yards as well, which looks a little bit high after a bad game, and stack him with Malachi Cooley. Keep it simple.
100%. I'm in. He's going to come to play today, and this is exactly what he's here for. Games like this, at home, massive spot. Goats are going to do go things tonight.
I really think this is maybe even an ML half U play on Western Kentucky here. I think they're going to win this game outright. I do.
I'm with you.
I think they win this game outright. All right, chat. Let's move on to NBA because we got Chelly coming on here in 5 or 10 to talk some puck. All right, but we got to go through the NBA first. Chat, we've got opening nights. I know some of you are more excited than others about the NBA. The real goats are probably waiting for college basketball to come back in 2 weeks like me, but the NBA will suffice for now, Javon. And we've got two pretty damn good games tonight. LA and Denver. W's. We got Jokic versus LeBron. That one should be pretty good. And then Phoenix and Golden State. Now, a lot of these guys are banged up. Bradley Beal not playing. Shocker. That guy hates playing basketball and hates winning. And Devin Booker is a game-time decision. Questionable. I think he's going to try to give it a go and warm up and play in this game against Golden State, who is without Draymond Green, Javon. So a lot of injuries in that second game. We'll see what happens on opening night tonight. Chat, let's briefly talk about them. Let's start with LA and Denver. Javon, what do you like in LeBron versus the Joker tonight?
LeBron versus the Joker, man. What an electric rematch. We got week one or opening night of this this NBA season. I really know this is a game that I really don't want to get involved in. I'll be honest with you there. But if you're taking anything here, got to take the Lakers in the revenge spot. Open the season after what we saw last year, dominance really for most of that series. That's the spot that I feel like I would like to take here, but I have absolutely no interest. Absolutely no interest.
Okay. You don't want to bet it, but you lean the Lakers, huh? All right.
Yeah. I mean, we don't do NBA like that in the first place. So I really try to be picking spots here. And this 100% is the season for me.
All right. Let's move on to game 2 then, because I might have an angle. I might have a play in this one. Phoenix and Golden State. I mentioned a couple guys being out in this one. And guys, if you haven't locked in your Steph Curry more than a half a point tonight on the Prize Picks board, I don't know why you wouldn't. It's pretty much as solid of a square as you can find here. All he needs to do is get 1 point tonight. I have a pretty good feeling he's going to smack that. Chad, make sure you don't forget about this one and pair it with something. I was hoping we could pair it with Aaron Judge, less than home runs for next season, but I don't think those are going to be out yet, unfortunately. So maybe look to pair this with something else tonight. I'm happy to give out something. I haven't really placed one yet. Or maybe we put this with a little NBA season geyser, Javon, and we let that ride. That wouldn't be a bad move at all. If we crafted up a little BTL NBA season mag real quick and maybe threw this Steph Curry square in there as well.
Yeah.
That could play. Chat, make sure you don't forget about this square. Okay, it'll be up until tip-off. All right. Javon, I think it's Golden State tonight. No Bradley Beal. Even if Booker plays, I kind of hope Booker plays because I don't think he'll play great if he's already kind of hobbled in game one here. And I think Golden State at home is an absolute freaking donkey. And then moving to -1.5 to -3.5 tells me either they're winning this game or Devin Booker's not going to play. And if that's the case, I think the Golden State's going to win this game anyways. I like them at home here in the first game of the season, and I want to fade the Suns early on in the NBA season until they figure out their new chemistry, their new mojo, their new offense, because they have a ton of new pieces. Golden State, not so much. I know they lost a couple guys. I know Draymond's hurt, but we pretty much know what to expect from Golden State here tonight, and I'll be laying it with them probably on the spread. Now that they're up to -3.5, I'll lay it with the Warriors here. Sure.
Yeah, you know what I like with this game? I like the over, because the one thing with the Warriors in this spot, which there's a lot of questions like with the Suns. Obviously, they're not a deep team necessarily. So on their side, I guess you can say once you get into the second units, their defense is a little questionable because they haven't really figured out the rotations that work for them on the back end quite yet. And on the other side, when you get to the first unit with the Warriors, we've kind of seen defensively what they've lacked without Draymond. So that's a lot in defense, a lot in facilitation, I guess you could say offensively, which I guess gets mitigated a little bit by the fact that they have Chris Paul, which is, again, a new thing, but that's something that I can trust offensively. So I think there's a lot of questions with both of these teams coming into the season and with injuries, and a lot of it for me revolves around the defensive side of the ball. So I think we get fireworks here with a lot of buckets early on. Just a lot of confusion defensively. I don't think they're going to have everything fleshed out in game one. That's what I'm kind of banking on here.
Yeah, both totals tonight have moved up. A little surprising, but I wouldn't want to be taking any of these unders tonight on NBA opening night chats. And maybe we'll take a peep at some of these prize pick squares. I would love to craft up a little BTL season neg, even if it was just a 4 or 5 piece, Javon, and we throw in that Steph Curry more than a half a point and go about our day. There's a couple angles I like, and I'm sure you got a few as well. You want to take a peep at those?
We can take a peep real quick.
Yeah, before Chelly hops on here in like 5, and then we'll do a bunch of NHL because we have a bazillion games set up. Chad, I know you guys want some hockey plays. They're coming. We need a season entry. All right, we'll craft up one real quick here, Javon. All right. Well, I'll be honest with you. I still want to put Jordan Poole in there, although Trent has it too. I think we still put it in there. I think he's going to go absolutely bonkers this season, Javon. Who else on the Wizards besides Kyle Kuzma is going to be scoring? And I'll tell you what, Kuzma is not creating offense himself. Kuzma stands in the corner and waits to get fed. But Jordan Poole is going to be dribbling a ton and honestly running and starting a lot of the offense when he's out there on the court with Jones. So I want to back Jordan Poole to go off and have a legacy season. We know he's already gotten bumped up, and I know a lot of people are taking him and on this narrative, but I don't really give a shit. The Wizards don't play defense. All their games are going to be high scoring, and he's got to be the guy who's going to be, carrying this offense. I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Poole, was leading, the NBA in scoring like a quarter through the season because the Wizards are so bad and nobody else can freaking score and shoot, and he's going to be jacking shots like no other, especially early in the year. 100%.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, and in my entry that I already submitted in my little go well, I had Tyus Jones assists in there. So I mean, not that Jordan Poole doesn't do a lot of ISO work himself, but I would love if they're just constantly feeding him.
I mean, yeah, dudes. So let me go ahead and let me get the NBA season going here. I was in the wrong category for a sec. We're on the NBA season. We've got Jordan Poole more than 24.7 points per game. So we need him to pretty much average 25 points a game, which I think he will. I think he honestly will average closer to 30 with this offense and with the lack of other guys who are stars on this offense. A lot of passers on this team. We got Gafford, we got Jones, like you mentioned. Pretty much it's going to be Poole and Kuzma. That's it. And I'll go with the guys to be dribbling the ball, Jordan Poole, starting the offense off. Okay. Do you want to stack it with Tyus?
Good. I do already have
I mean-
Tyus in my entry, so I wouldn't be mad at keeping that out. Just putting one wizard in
Okay.
there.
I mean, I would not be mad about putting another wizard in there and being a freak and stacking up
I
as
would.
well. But okay, we can come back to that if we need to. Were there any other guys who you were looking at who you wanted to potentially fade or back?
There's a
This
couple, and I'll be quick so we can get Shelly in here, but I really
Sure.
like Paolo this year, which I think a lot of people do. And buying into that, I think he's going to take a massive step in efficiency, which was really his problem last year. He didn't really know how to handle it with the personnel that had around him in the Magic team. I think this year he's really going to take that step as far as knowing his role in that offense and being able to consistently kind of command that offense. Like I took his PPG over in my entry. I think he's going to have a massive year.
Huh. More than 21.9?
More than 21.9. That's been creeping up ever so slightly.
I could get down with Paulo balling. This is his second season.
Yep. Sophomore
Okay.
step. Slump.
Okay. Chat's liking it as well. And chat, yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to feed us a couple of these. And Shelly, if you have any NBA plays, feel free to bring
Maybe we
yourself
can
up
see Shelly's.
as well.
Shelly's tats.
You don't have to, though. We'll be done with this in a couple minutes anyways, though, Chell. It's up to you, Beast. Can we fade a GOAT? I feel like this wouldn't be right if we don't fade at least one GOAT in here, chat. What do we think?
Who are we
Gotta fade
fading?
one
Man?
GOAT.
Who are we fading?
I mean, it
Can
should
we
be
fade
that hard.
LeBron, please?
I don't know if I want to fade LeBron. Well, we could fade LeBron.
Let's fade LeBron.
Is
you're
there
gonna
like
fade-
a
If you're gonna fade Aaron
gotta
Judge,
be-
might as well fade LeBron.
there's got to be a 50-point square we can freaking fade. Or is there a LeBron threes made square we can fade? I would love to fade that. He stinks at shooting threes. He stinks at threes. Chat, what about fading LeBron and taking his less than 2.3 3-pointers made per game?
If that's how you're going to fade him, yeah, it's probably the best avenue to do it.
Damn. The fuck are we fading LeBron for, man?
He's a little great.
Jokic under 50. He's dedicated this year to Bronny. Can't do that locked in. Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
true.
What do we take Browns over Tex?
Over his technicals,
1.5.
he's going back to 23. Good luck. Yeah, we're not fading LeBron this year. Fuck that. What about 30-point games?
Oh, I got a nasty 30-point game.
Give me game. What do you got?
Dylan Brooks, over 1.5.
Over 1.5? Shut up.
Over more than 1.5.
Oh my God. You want to take and back Dylan Brooks, the scum of the earth, more than 1.5 30-point games? Why? Real quick.
Yes, I do. I mean, he's a Rocket now. People forget. Which really, when you talk about the Rockets, the way that team is constructed and the way all those guys play, it is literally ISO ball 24/7. So that's the reason why you see rotating 30-point games. And people don't realize he's actually done this a little more than you think, too. Like Dylan Brooks, as much as people hate him, he is absolute scum of the earth. But he can go out there and get you buckets on that team playing ISO ball for multiple games. So I'm taking it.
I'm in. Okay. Is there a technical foul square we can take here, folks? There's
You
got to
take
be a
Pat
guy
Bev.
on here. Who?
Take Pat Bev's less than Tex.
You want to take Pat Bev less than Tex? You sick pop.
LeBron's getting 2 techs, man. You just know it.
You sick pop.
He's getting 2
Yeah.
techs.
Is that actually your favorite Tex square, Javon?
It's the only one that I've seen get bumped down.
No way that got bumped down.
Yeah, it was at 10.5.
All right, I'm in. Jesus, dude. We need a less than in there, too. Right now, we've got a 4-geyser. Okay, we got Jordan Poole, more than points per game. We got Paulo Banchero, more than points per game. We got Dylan Brooks, more than 1.5 30-point games. And we got Pat Bev, less than 8.5 technicals in the season. Jesus.
That's hilarious.
What are we doing?
Hilarious.
Chat, we're going to wrap this up soon and get Chelly on here for hockey. He's getting down in the lab right now behind the scenes. But any other squares you guys like that you want to throw in here? Maybe we'll do a celeb shot here. Any other squares you guys like? Ant over 50-point game. Yeah, but the problem is Ant is going to be hurt and probably miss the whole season because that's what he does every year. I don't know if that's somebody I want to back. Ben Simmons assists. JJ Miles, we got Poole in there already. Has Tatum gotten a 50 berg yet? I feel like he broke that stigma, and he did, right?
Oh, for sure.
And he's not even up there anyways. Doesn't matter.
Getting a tech. They do have some funny tech squares.
Can we fade Steph Curry triple-double? Less than a half triple-double?
Nah, he's getting tripped up, man.
What? What about Fred VanVleet triple-double?
Oh, he's on the Rockets too. We already have a Rocket.
Oh, shit. Okay. Embiid triple-double?
See.
That looks like the freest square in that category. Joel Embiid, more than half a triple-double? Dude.
That's dope.
I mean, yeah, I think so. Out of all those guys in there.
How about we do this? How about we take what we have, we get Shelly on, we talk about hockey, and then we can circle back maybe later off stream and post one. Because I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss the fat hockey slate we have just because we're talking about NBA squares.
All right. Well, Goots, can we at least flash this 4-guyser for now, and we'll post on BTL our season-long entry when we craft it up this afternoon. W. Shelly. We got a 4-guyser here. And Shelly, if you have any NBA angles or takes or comments about these squares, let us know.
Nothing, bro.
We got Jordan Poole, more than points per game. We got Paulo Banchero, more than points per game. We got Dylan Brooks, more than 1.5 30 pieces. And we got Pat Bev, less than 8.5 technicals. That is the grossest square I've ever seen in my life. And we're definitely going to pair this, or at least I'm going to pair this with the Steph Curry, more than half a point, and give that a freebie square. Okay. Chat, we will finalize this and post it on the Book at BTL Twitter before the games start tonight. So stay dialed, and I would not mind, honestly, Javon, just fading the Wemby 30-point games and go to better day. But we'll pick that up after. Right now, we got to talk some hockey with Chell and Javon. We've got a fat slate today. I want you boys to take over here and drive the boat.
I
Go
mean,
through some of these games. You don't have to go over every one.
yeah.
Why don't we start at the top and take us through what you like? You can skip the ones you don't. Go over prize pick squares, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Give the people some winners on the ice. Come on.
Yeah, I've been. This has been marked on my calendar, October 24th, for the last 5 months. When they announced that they were going to do the NHL Frozen Frenzy, which is pretty much the NHL versions of Red Zone, which is done out on ESPN Plus. I've been trying to keep it in my pants for the last 3 months that it was announced. So this was like a holiday for me. I'm literally splooging. We're gonna get every goal from every game. We're gonna get to see some really cool power plays. I'm doing an anytime goal scorer parlay in every game tonight. So in honor of tonight's NHL Frozen Frenzy. And there's some juicy guys and there's some plus 270s in there. It's not just, fucking Jack Hughes and Draisaitl, so it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun slate. Marchenko, yeah, for sure. Against the Ducks. Why not us? Tonsils. No. But yeah, no, I have a play of the day for the first time all year. PODs are back. Yeah, PODs are back. And I'll just rip it, boys. I'll just rip it. It's scroll on down, Goots, to the Yotes and the Kings game. Super duper underrated that the LA Kings have had an extremely tough start to their season schedule wise. They've played the Avs, they've played the Canes, they've played the Winnipeg Jets, they've played the Minnesota Wild, and they've played the Boston Bruins. It's a tough first 5 games to have to start your year. They're 2-2-1. Oh, the Phil Mickelson challenge. Ooh. They're 2-2-1 to start the season. The Yotes have had a pretty easy schedule to start the year, and they've been playing really well. I look for the Kings today to bounce back in a big way at home. Give me the -1.5 at plus 120 as my play of the day. We're starting out the season with a plus chicky POD. I love the Kings today at home. I think they absolutely come out fired up and stick it to this Coyotes team who's been playing as they should be playing. They played really well. They're a solid team. I'm not going to come out here and say that they're not good. They are starting Connor Ingram today, which is why you're seeing them at -205 on the ML. But the Kings are going to come out at home today and absolutely stick it to this Yotes team. All right, so I love that today. That's meat on tape, POD.
Let's fucking go, Chell.
Love that. Love that. So that's how we're gonna come out fired up. I love that today. That's
W confidence. Looks like Ron also had that as his POD today.
Let's go. W Ron.
W's.
My bad, Ron. I didn't mean to steal that, bro.
That's a W. Two goats.
Okay.
Same play.
Scroll back up, Goots. We'll start at the top. I just wanted to get the POD out of the way.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm tailing that shit.
Biggest stay away game on the slate is your Capitals against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wall is starting in net for the Leafs. He had really one bad start against the Blackhawks where they lost 4-1, and then he had a shutout where he came in against the Lightning at the game that Javon was at when the Lightning blew that third period lead, which was probably absolute piss to be at.
Can't make it up.
Stay away from it. I am on Nylander SOGs. Just have to be with the amount of shot attempts he's putting up a game. He's putting up 11 shot attempts per game, and his line's at 3.5. Strictly the fact that if the Capitals go up, Nylander is just going to hit his SOGs. We got super unlucky last time we took him, and he's a guy you go back to week in, week out. And I could see the Leafs dropping with Woll in net. I could see the Leafs dropping behind early and needing to fire in Capital One Arena. We'll move it on.
The backup goalie too.
The Caps are starting Darcy Kemper today.
Okay. He's back. Good.
He's back. Yeah.
Okay.
Then they're starting some guy I've never heard of tomorrow, but that's not important. We have
because
a lot of
their
games.
Other goalie, their other goalie's hurt or some shit. But that's
they're
Darcy's
starting
back.
Hunter Shepard tomorrow.
Okay. Keep moving. Go over the games you got plays in that you love.
Sure. Play prop of the day, prize pick square of the day in this Anaheim Ducks CBJ game. It's not Marchenko, Javon. It's Mason McTavish. McTavish. All right, 8 shots attempted on average so far this season. He's at 2 flat on PP. I absolutely love this spot. CBJ has been allowing a ton of SOGs to start the year. They always do. And I think this game, a lot of people are probably going to be on this over today. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. The Ducks have kind of locked it in defensively. But with a guy like McTavish with the weight, and he's off the board.
Fish.
I think my 2-piece got taken off the board, but they will put them back up, and I'm assuming back at the same numbers because you can place this on your book over 2.5 at plus 130. So there's plus Chicky opportunity on your books if he doesn't get put back up on Prize Picks. That is my favorite prop of the day on this 16 game slate. I love McTavish today against the Blue Jackets. He's a rip.
Okay. So if he goes back up there, we're nuking that shit.
Okay. Yeah. But they'll put him back up. They just do it because I think I tweeted a lot of whenever a certain amount of money gets put on a play, then they take him down to evaluate that if it's like if
make sure that there's not some weird shit going on.
Yeah, exactly.
100% with it.
Yeah. So UPL starting in net for the Sabres today against the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. Ottawa has been one of my early wagons to kind of bet on at home. It's really tough to go play in Ottawa. Nobody really wants to go play there. Sabres did play last night in Montreal, so this is a Canadian road trip for them. And to say that they shouldn't have won that game last night is they did not deserve to win that game last night. That was always the Habs game to win. Again, I'm looking at probably just staying away completely from this. I don't think this line is accurate. Forsberg's been extremely, extremely solid to start the year, which I think he is due for a little bit of regression. The guy like Forsberg isn't going to be posting up a 1.55 or whatever he is goals allowed for the year. He's going to be letting in 3-4 goals a game. So I think the Sabres will come out fired up today. It's a young team. Tired legs isn't too much of a concern, right? And again, Buffalo to Ottawa is what, a 2-hour road trip? Or it's not. It's like 3-hour road trip. I forget how close it is, chat, but I know it's not as far as you guys think. Might be 5 hours. I don't know. I'm not a geographer. But 5 to 6 hours. Thanks, chat. Thanks. I am on Josh Norris SOGs. Again, I think we saw it against the Sens and the Red Wings last Saturday, or I guess 3 days ago. The Red Wings go up in this game. The Senators have 35 SOGs. Josh Norris had 6 of them that game, 5 of them that game. He hasn't missed this over 2.5, over 2 mark since he's been back. He's absolutely buzzing on the first power play. I love what I've been seeing from the youngster. He's still got a lot to prove, but he's been playing absolutely out of his mind. Last season, obviously unfortunate with the injury, but I'm expecting him to have a great season this year, and he's off to a hot start. Give me at 2. This line will be at 2.5 probably going forward for the rest of the year if he continues this. But I love it. I'm not a geography.
You
I'm
know,
not.
Cap-wise, Nick is just absolutely eating that comment up, man. He's just eating that one up. Lauren even getting it on the action.
Yeah,
So, he's
Lauren's
not a
getting on it
geography.
too. I'm not a geography. All right, never
Yes,
said
he's
I
not
was.
we know one thing. He is not a geography. Okay, that we know, and we know. Okay.
Okay, so
Shelly,
yeah,
man.
so first 3
Let,
games.
let me ask real quick.
Yeah.
When are we going to see a decent power play from the Sabres? I've been waiting.
Dude, I honestly think we need to switch it up. We're trying to get way too cute with Cousins on that first power play. I'd love to see Cousins move down to the second power play. And then I want to see Owen Power on the first power play. If you watch our second power play, Owen Power is pretty much commanding that power play very, very well. Paterka also super solid. But I'd love to see Owen Power and Darlene to run 2 defensemen on that first power play. I think we're trying to get too cute. I don't think Cousins should be on the first power play. No, I don't like Cousins on that first power play at all. Tuck's also been ass to start the year. Alex Tuck has not been good for us to start the year. Yeah, Tuck's been shit in the bed. All right, moving on. So no sides or totals on the first 3, but obviously you get to pick and choose your spots here a lot more with the 16 game slate. But this Canes Lightning game, I'm gonna be on the I like the over 6.5. Right. Antti Ranta is expected to start. If it's Ranta, you definitely are going to be seeing this over in some sort of play for me today. Johansson hasn't been that great. He's been kind of just serviceable enough for the Lightning to squeak by. But give me Ranta, who's been struggling since coming in for Freddie Anderson, which is actually super surprising. And then Johansson, who has been looking lackluster, and we know that the Lightning are going to get their goals one way or another. They always find their way to score goals. But it's the fact that the Canes are most likely getting Sebastian Aho back today. And this offense on the Canes has been starting to buzz a little bit. So I'm going to be on this over today. Not ready to pick a side on this whatsoever, though.
Okay.
But usually this would be an under for me, right? If we're seeing Freddie Anderson against Vasilevsky, then yes, I'm going to be taking the under in this game. But with this goaltending, with both these teams having decent to mid starts to their year, I think both of these are must-win games against a better competition than they've been playing. But I'm going to be on this over today.
Yeah, I feel like these teams, would be better than just being at 500 right now. I know it's early; it's only the second week of the year, but Carolina and Tampa, aren't those 2 of the best squads?
Yeah, Lightning are just trying to get as many wins as they can before Vasilevsky comes back. So
okay, yeah,
Moose.
they need their goat back. That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about Ovi and his SOGs today? I feel like that's fitting.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, last game was
last
the
week.
game you were going to take him, right? I think if you were going to take Ovi, you were going to take him last game after putting 2
That was
goose
the
eggs.
one you talked about.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. That's the game you take him. You don't take him in this game. You don't take him.
Okay.
This is the game
All
you
right.
don't take him. You take
We had our chance
Nylander.
and we
And,
blew it. Yep.
yeah, I just trust
Also,
a guy
yeah.
like Nylander.
Can you give the people a rundown
Yeah.
about what this is, what it's called? Just go over it real quick.
Sure.
and hype
It's
it
the
up.
NHL versions of the Red Zone. It's called the Frozen Frenzy. It starts tonight at first puck drop, so 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And the NHL is trying something new. So see how those start times are staggered. So you see 7 p.m., 7:15, 7:30, 7:45. NHL fans have been asking for these staggered starts for fucking years because all we want to do, especially those like myself who are betting on them, we need staggered start time. So I'm not sitting there with my dick in my hand during first period intermission with 8 games in intermission and me just sitting there watching commercial after commercial. So they finally heard us out. We're getting an NHL red zone tonight. We're going to be seeing every goal, pretty much every power play. So anytime there's a power play, we're going to be watching in live. And ESPN, obviously with ESPN Plus, has all the rights to every game. So similar to NFL Red Zone, they have the rights. So they'll be showing it. It's going to be a W. I'm really hoping it is, because if it's not, they're going to completely botch this. It's
Did they have Buchagras hosting it? Is that true?
I think it is him. I'm not positive though. I wasn't too concerned with the host. I was kind of more hyped just to watch, bro.
I feel like it is Buchagras, and if it is, that's actually fire because he's a goat. Jack confirmed, deny. It's got to be.
It's Booch. It's him.
It's Booch.
Bitch.
Booch. I mean, that's going to be electric. And Chelly, let me ask you this. This is a 2-part question, then we'll let you get back to your winners. But
Yeah.
This is the first time they're doing this for the
Yep.
NHL. This is great for the sport. This is great for our viewing and betting.
Did Krabs just cut out for anyone else?
Yeah, it is Coogie.
Oh, you're muted, Krabs. Why are you muted? Oh, what the?
This
Holy sh! Man's is Martians. We'll be
Martians. We'll let him figure that out. But take
Sure.
me to Devils -1.5.
Yeah. I do love the Devils today. Absolutely think they come out, and after the Habs had a back-to-back last night, they're starting Caden Primeau. And he's been absolute moose in all of his starts pretty much. The Devils are going to absolutely have their way with the Habs today. I don't care that they're on the road. The boys are fired up. I think it's going to be an electric game. Jack Hughes is scoring today as well. I know I said I wasn't going to just give you those players, but he does get a goal today. Nico Hischier most likely not playing today for the Devils as well. So buying a little bit of bad news with him being out. I also like this over. So if you can parlay, if you don't want to take the Devils -1.5, you can probably just take Devils money line parlayed with the over, and probably get better odds than +110 or somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Primo, whatever, dude. Primeau. Like, I'm not French. I'm American. Hello.
Can you guys hear me? Am I Martian still or no?
There you go. You're off Mars.
Back? Good. I was going to ask you guys, and mainly Chelly here, do we think we're going to get more goals? Are we going to get more pucks in net today with the special events? What's going on with this?
That's what they're hoping. They're hoping that there's tons of overstay, as you see, a lot of them at 6.5. I mean, a Stars Penguins over at 6.5 is absolutely mind-boggling to me, with how lackluster the Stars offense has been and how good they are defensively usually. But yeah, like we're seeing tons of totals at 6.5 that I figured would be at 5.5, 6, maybe at plus chicky. But they really, really want tons of goals tonight. They want tons of goals tonight.
And these totals are telling you we're getting goals. We're getting pucks in net tonight.
I mean, I hope so. There's not one total at 5.5 tonight, and all the ones that I thought would be at 5.5, they're at 6, and this one's at 6.5. So
okay, so maybe it will be a little public grand salami over. For the people
yeah, that would be
tonight.
super public, and I can imagine a lot of people are betting on that and then going to sit down and watch the Frozen Frenzy. So
I mean, it makes sense, right? If they're trying to grow the game, they're trying to showcase their product the first time they're doing this, right? So I'd expect they would definitely prefer plenty of pucks in net and plenty of action, right? I don't know how they do that in hockey, right? How do you manipulate offense in the sport? It's much easier, in baseball with juicing the balls and stuff. Like, are they going to juice the pucks? Like, how does that even work? I feel like hockey has so much luck involved into it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if the totals are higher than you expected, that's a great sign for points tonight.
Yeah.
I love it.
And chat saying that the Islanders game is 5.5. It was at 6 when I checked, and now it's down to 5.5. So
okay, so maybe that'll be the one under.
Yeah, maybe that will be the one. That would be the one.
Keep powering through. Chelly and Javon chime in as well. I know you got some hockey angles too.
Yeah, Javon, feel free to jump in whenever, bro. Like, stop me.
Sure.
But yeah, Javon, sounds like you like the Devils today, so don't hate that at all. Stars Penguins. Yeah, this is an interesting one. We the guy I like to call Needle Dick Nedeljkovic in net for the Penguins. We call him Needle Dick because he was so poor for the Red Wings when he played for them. And then Audie obviously for the Stars. This game is a game again. I would lean under normally, right? I would look at this game and say, yeah, that game has everything and its mother should be on the under. Nedeljkovic had actually a really good start against the Flames in a game where I needed them to not lose for the Frosty Five, but they lost for the Frosty Five. He had 34 saves and on 36 attempts. So he had a really solid game, and I wouldn't be surprised with how lackluster the Stars offense has been that Needle Dick puts up another good performance. But yeah, I'd probably lean under and say that, like, if this game goes over, then yeah, potentially there's some juiced pucks out there.
Sure. Well, people in chat are saying take it one step further and maybe bet on the power plays tonight. Is that a thing? Are there?
Yeah, you can bet on PP points, PP goals for certain players and certain teams.
Okay.
If I don't know if my offshore book has it, but I would definitely, if you guys can get active on some like a Devils power play goal, like by all means, get absolutely after it. That power play was 4 for 4 last game. Like, they're unbelievable. They're clicking on all cylinders. And Nico just got confirmed in front of my eyes. So I'm seeing Nico Hischier is confirmed starting center tonight. So,
and we'll probably have Goots. I'll drop this in the private chat for Goots showing these Frozen Frenzy specials on the Blue Book. No free ads, but we might have to screen share that and pull that up at the end once you're done going over your plays, because there's some interesting ones with, total power play goals, shorthanded goals, stuff like that.
Sure.
We'll touch on that towards the end, but keep ripping.
Sure. Sharks Panthers. Again, Sharks line the most shots on goal. or second most shots on goal in the NFL or NFL in the NHL. I absolutely love Evan Rodriguez today as a prop in this game. He's up to 3, but I think you can take him up to 3. Again, you've needed guys to step up on this team, and Rodriguez coming from the Avs has really come into his own here. Tons of shot attempts on that first power play unit. The Sharks are taking tons of power plays, and the Panthers are drawing tons of power plays. I know it's green gob. Play it. You can play it on your green or blue book at -150 if you want to get, a little bit juicy and put it in a parlay. But I absolutely love what I've been seeing from this man. He's got the dream matchup that you want. And I don't think that the Panthers win this game convincingly with Stolar's back there. I don't. First start, right? You would have thought you would have seen Spencer Knight or Spencer Knight not even fucking on the Panthers anymore. But Stolar's, I really like that. I really think he gives up a couple goals tonight. So I think the Sharks Panthers over is a good look, and I also think that Evan Rodriguez SOGs is a good look.
Okay. If there's one thing I've learned about betting NHL prize pick squares, it's that if they're green, it doesn't matter. You still take it. And you trust
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially early on in
With
the
the
year.
correct matchup. With the correct matchup, that's where people go wrong. They'll see a green gob and they won't look at who they're playing. They're just like, oh, he's green.
Mhm.
Right. So
Sure. We got a sub bang from Shamway69. Let's go, Shamway.
Shamway.
Wow. Sure.
W mans.
W's.
All right, we'll keep it moving. I think we're making good headway right now. I think we got about 15 minutes left. Yeah, again, like that over. Looking at a lot of overs tonight. Hopefully that narrative kind of rings true for the Frozen Frenzy on tonight. Okay. Islanders Avs. Okay, yeah. So this total was at 6. It's moved down to 5.5, juice to the over. If you guys can see, it's at 5.5. Only total at 5.5 today. It probably goes under. This is a very surprising total because as in someone who's been watching a lot of Avs hockey, they play a very offensive game and they have been hitting overs. Like they've been scoring average 3 or 4 goals a game, which is usually a recipe for an over if you're playing an offensive style of hockey. But they have been pretty solid defensively, surprisingly. Georgiev's been good. And Sorokin, obviously, in the other net, he's one of the best goalies in the NHL. So it's hard to take an over in this situation. So I'm going to be taking the under. I think Sorokin gets to the Avs tonight. I think he plays a great game. And the Islanders, they're worse than the Stars offensively, in my opinion. They're super solid defensively, but they play a very, very poor style of hockey. They hit an over in their last game against the Devils that a lot of people probably had the under on. So I'm going to be on this under 5.5 tonight. As a straight bet. So this is going to be one of my straight bets tonight. Yeah, it makes it's very, very interesting that this total's at 5.5.
I just think that the Isles are going to frustrate the hell out of the Avs. Obviously the contrast in styles, but the Avs are just going to be possessing the puck, and the Isles are going to keep it tight in there.
Yeah, definitely look for some 100%. Definitely look for some Avs SOGs today. I'm looking the way of like Lehkonen. Honestly, at 2.5, you can get him on Prize Picks. He's been absolutely ripping. I don't see anything changing today for Lehkonen. So I love Lehkonen today. I'm going to have him in like a 2-man gob. So we can go through Prize Picks here towards the end, though, with everything that I'm on.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Should we hit that now? Should we finish
let's finish the slate. I'll fly through the slate. We're gonna skip over this Bruins Chicago game. Let me just real quick fucking rip on the Bruins. Fuck the Bruins. They're fake good. They shouldn't be 5-0. Easiest schedule in the fucking entire NHL season to start the year. They're fraudulent. They're ass. They're not good. I'm so far out on the Bruins. I'm fading them when they play when the Bruins play a good team. You're gonna see a 10-unit max on the other side. I'm so done with this Bruins team, bro. When they play a team that actually is competently playing hockey right now, let me just tell you who the Bruins have beat so far in their 5-0 start to the year. They've beat the Blackhawks, they've beat the Preds, they've beat the Sharks, they beat the Kings, and they beat Anaheim. The only good team on that list is the Kings. All right? The only good team on that list is the Kings. They beat the Sharks, the Ducks, the Preds, and the Blackhawks, and they're playing the Blackhawks again, and I think Blackhawks plus 1.5 is a fucking shout. I think Blackhawks plus 1.5 is a shout.
That's my POD on the ice.
I had to get off my chest, bro. I woke up.
Let's fade the undefeated. Let's fade the undefeated fraudulent Bruins. I'm in. Let's take the plus 1.5. Let's hold on for dear life. I'm down.
Yeah, and Shelly, I don't know if you remember what I told you, but you see that price on the minus 1.5 for the Bruins?
Plus 114.
Gold number plus 114.
Hey man, I'm not touching this game today. I think the Bruins probably go 6-0, but people who don't watch hockey are like, "Oh my god, the Bruins are still a wagon, set the points record last year and they're still that same team." They're not. Watch the game. Watch a game. Watch a Bruins game and then get back to me.
Well, what's going on tonight too. It's one of the favorite spots to fade in hockey too. The Bruins just they swept a 3-game road stand out west. Now they're closing up last game of a 4-game road stand in Chicago. It's golden spot. Give me the Hawks +1.5 and on the ML.
I don't like that at all, bro. This
Shelly, take us through your favorite book plays remaining. I know there's probably 6 games left-ish, but take us through your favorite book plays in the next 5, and then we'll do squad ride, and then while they vote, we'll do a little prize picks NHL talk.
Sure. I'm taking the Rangers on the money line against the Flames. I'm so far out on this Flames team. The Rangers haven't looked great to start the season. I think they're finally going to get things clicking. And defensively, they're much, much, much stronger than this Flames team, who allows easy goals. And this is just a spot where you got to take the Rangers on the beginning of a Canadian road trip, because the Rangers are pretty solid when they travel to Canada. So I'm going to be taking the Rangers. I'm taking both New York, New Jersey teams in Canada tonight. So the Devils and the Rangers, I think they both get the job done in Canada tonight.
Cool. Okay. Keep going.
Kings -1.5. You guys know is my nuts on table POD. It's +130 now. +130 now.
Go, dude.
I'm not worried about that. I will literally put my nuts on table for this. If the Kings don't win by 2 today, I won't come on stream for a little while. I won't come on stream.
No, that's not a win for us though. That's not
a
win. How about if the Kings don't win by 1.5, you have to go on stream every day next week?
I mean, yeah.
Punish yourself.
I love going on stream though. It's not a punishment.
I know, but every day though, that's a lot.
I'll do a 24-hour stream. I'll do a 24-hour stream. I'll do a 24-hour stream.
Wait a minute. What was that, Joe?
I'll do a 24-hour stream if the Kings don't win by 2.
No way.
Yeah.
You just said
dude, I promise you they're winning. I won't have to do it, but
no way you just said that.
Yeah.
Okay. This feels like when I fucking said that and felt like I shouldn't have right after.
I feel like I should have said that though. That's the thing. Where's my ass tattoo? You know what, Lila Love? How about we figure it out?
Yeah, +1 million. That's actually their picture. Okay. Let's keep moving and grooving here, Chell.
That's it. No advantage. Sorry. No McDavid today. I'm looking towards anybody but Draisaitl. There's pretty much no data on Draisaitl. Me and Nick, Capwise Nick, were talking about it earlier. Until I see Draisaitl perform without McDavid on the ice, I think they rely a lot on each other to kind of glue and gel on that power play. I'm looking at a guy like Evander Kane, who I know is self-sufficient without Connor McDavid, because Evander Kane's been playing on that power play too, right, without McDavid, and he's looked just fine. So now you're putting him on a better power play in place of McDavid. Give me Evander Kane today. Absolutely love Evander Kane SOGs.
Okay. The human scumbag on the ice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up and do squad rounds?
No, Phil, if you're touching anything in the Flyers VGK game, call the number. You need it. You require it. Javon, what are you touching in this game?
Flyers ML.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting the season hotter than they always start the season really hot. I talked about this a little bit on the Capwise stream earlier. I went on for a little bit and said, Tort's telling these guys to go break someone's clavicle. He's telling them to go literally rip someone's head off, stomp on it, and then do the gritty. Like, he's telling these boys to absolutely get after it out there, and they are. They're a young squad. They got a lot of heart. How are you fading the city of Philadelphia right now with the type of spirits they're probably in? I know the Flyers probably have something else on the backside of their mind, and that's if the Phillies lose today, I'm fading the Flyers. If the Phillies win today, I'm hammering the Flyers. Okay. The morale that these guys get from other teams that are winning and losing in their own city, this especially the city of Philadelphia right now, the Eagles winning was big, right? Because I thought the Phillies would close it out last night. They didn't. They choked. They look horrible. If the Phillies close it out tonight, I'm taking Flyers on the ML to absolutely go off. Mahoney, bro, were the Flyers at the club last night? This is information we need to know. This is information we need to know.
Vegas the last couple nights.
We need to know. Hey, we need to know. This is how bets get won and lost. All right. He said, yeah.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah, I bet, Mahoney.
Yeah, well, I don't know how the Eagles win and then the Phillies, end up losing that game right afterwards.
Yeah.
Had an effect, but I like your meat on tape LA Kings spread play, and I think we're going to put that in the squad rod. That we
Sure.
know.
Sure. If I had
Devon,
to
you
give,
good with that?
yeah, put it in there. I mean, if
Sure.
I will say that, like, if chat votes for it, like, I hope you guys vote for something that, because if you vote for Kings -1.5, you're probably already gonna have units on it. So maybe vote for something else. I would recommend, because if it's
Chat,
if
always
Jelly might
vote
be
for the
able-
winner. Don't just vote for the play that is going to get Shelly to do a 24-hour stream or the most fun play. Always pick
Yeah.
the winner, chat. This is the sharpest chat on earth. Click the right button. That's all
Sure.
we ask.
Chat wants to
Correct.
talk about the Red Hot Red Wings against the Kraken. Stay the fuck away. Stay the fuck away, please. It's so weird. It's the weirdest line I've seen in a long time. Red Wings at home, right? Red Wings at home, 5-1, by the way, against the backup goalie for the Kraken.
You've got to be kidding me with this game.
What the
The
fuck?
game feels like the Canes game, except they don't have home ice on their side.
You've
What
got to
the
be kidding me with
fuck
this game. You've
is
got to
that
be kidding
line?
me. What is it? That's wild.
I mean,
Are there
Javon-
injuries? Are there
Javon
backup
likes to touch
goalies?
these. Javon likes to touch these games and take Kraken ML. I like to stay away.
Yeah,
However,
and I don't blame you for staying away, but it's
Javon's
got to be
1-0 on
either,
betting on the Kraken. I'm just
it's got to be
saying.
Kraken or nothing here, right? There's no way you're getting queued with Detroit in that short line.
They've
Is there
been
something
so
we're
good.
missing? Is there injuries or backup goalies in this
If
game?
anything, there's injuries for the Kraken.
Okay.
There's not really any new injuries other than Costin.
I feel like it's got to be Kraken mandatory play for a responsible unit. Nothing more, nothing less.
It does. I love nasty Joey Decord plays.
Joey Decord's been
Well,
solid too.
Javon,
No.
we're putting that in the squad ride too, bro. I don't think we can't. I really don't
You
think
have
we
to.
can't.
You have to.
Okay. All right. But Chad, I understand if you don't want to vote for that or if you don't want to take Seattle because that is a disgusting play. So I don't
Gross.
blame you.
Gross.
And Shelly, let's craft up the squad ride real quick and then we'll let you kind of cook on prize picks as well.
Sure, yeah, I wanted to go
um,
through some prize picks, but go ahead.
But yeah,
Let's
let's
do
stack
squad
this
ride.
up and get the votes up. We'll put the Kings -1.5 in there. Have to. That's Shelly's first POD of the season. Got to ride that. Got to trust. Seattle ML. Little plus chick action there and a nasty play. There's some hockey picks for you guys. I think we got to put in Western Kentucky +5.5, Javon.
Yes. We also have to put the Blackhawks +1.5 in there. So that's
Okay.
That's good.
I
Okay,
just hate the
Chicago
Bruins, bro.
Blackhawks.
My little Bruins rant.
I know. I liked your Bruins rant though. I
It's
like that energy.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they're 5-0. It pisses me off, actually.
Chicago +1.5, Javon.
Yep.
Okay, so we got LA spread, we got Seattle ML, we got Chicago +1.5 on the ice, we got Western Kentucky +5.5. Is there an NBA or MLB play we want to throw in here, Javon? I mean, my vote would probably be Snakes ML, but I really don't love that. Maybe Golden State Warriors spreads, late nights.
It's up to you.
NBA?
I really don't think to put either of those in with any sort of confidence. So,
Do you have any other
Super.
plays in your back pocket?
I mean, the only other stuff I have on the ice, and I would say Devils -1.5 would be the last leg there.
Shelly, do you like the Devils or no?
I
forget what
do.
you said.
I do. I think Caden, Primu, fuck you guys. I'm gonna say whatever I want. Is Moose. He's pre-Moose.
Okay. I'm down to make this, mainly hockey. We can put in the Devils -1.5 on the ice and go with a more confident play. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. You got 3 minutes to get your votes in. Hurry the fuck up. Go. Get your votes in. Hurry up in the Twitch chats. We've got 5 plays, LA spreads, Seattle ML, Western Kentucky on the gridiron +5.5, and then 2 more hockey plays, Chicago +1.5, and the Devils -1.5.
Mhm.
All right, we got about 3 minutes here. Chelly, can you go over a couple of your favorite prize pick squares
Sure.
on the ice?
Sure. All right. Obviously, I tweeted out. I don't know if they should get put back up on the board. McTavish and Josh Norris. They both have very, very favorable matchups against the Blue Jackets for McTavish and then against the Sabres for Norris. Both games in which I think both their teams will be trailing at some point. I think the Sabres might get an early one as they've been hitting those first period overs and they've been scoring early and often when the Sabres do score, which, they haven't looked great so far, but I do think that they bounce back today in Ottawa. And then CBJ, I think they come out at home against the Ducks and get a couple early, which forces these two to start to fire. And at 2, obviously, I think that they finish at 3 plus. So if you want to take them elsewhere, if they don't get put back on prize picks, I recommend taking them at the plus chicky odds you're getting them. because both these guys, I think that we will start seeing them at 2.5 moving forward if they continue to fire the way I see them firing.
W's.
Absolutely. And then I also have a all 2 flat 4-man. So it's McTavish Norris, free flyer. I'm tailing him on Quinn Hughes. Absolutely love what I've seen. He's averaging 11 shot attempts in the last 3 games, and he's playing the Preds, so a very favorable matchup for Quinn Hughes. And then, yeah, I mean, this guy's unbelievable. What he's been doing for this team defensively. He's their main guy ripping right now. They lost Ekman Larson to the Panthers, so he's stepped up in a big way for this Vancouver team. And then my last guy is JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, for the Bruins. Again, I'm all the way out on this Bruins team, but I think they could be trailing tonight in this game. He's starting to figure it out. He has another favorable matchup against Chicago. Only had one against them last time they played, but I think he's figuring it out. And I'm starting to look at JVR tonight on that first power play for the Bruins. I think they could be losing tonight. I think they're going to be losing tonight. So that's my 4-man, all at 2. Other leans tonight, real quick. I know I got a tempo and pace. Stream's about to start. Surgical stream's about to start. But Zibanejad at 2.5. Guys, it's not Panarin tonight. It might be Panarin tonight. Why the fuck is he at 2.5? Why the fuck is Panarin at 2.5? That's the most public prize pick square of all. Go to Panarin.
Yeah.
This is the most public square I've ever seen in my entire life. All right. This will be the most bet on NHL square of the entire night. Artemi Panarin. All right. I get it. He's 5 for 5, hasn't missed yet this year. He's the greenest guy I've ever seen. His shot attempts are there. Everything you want to see from this guy is exactly where it needs to be. I'm not fading it. I'm trusting Zibanejad. All right. Previously, most past seasons, Panarin is a pass first guy, right? He doesn't score a lot. He gets a lot more assists than he does goals. Zibanejad is always going to be that goal scorer other than Kreider. But I trust Zibanejad more than Panarin. I will always trust Zibanejad more than Panarin, personally.
Sure. He's a goat.
But he is ripping.
He's ripping. All right. We'll fade
Crabs,
him today.
if you fade that, Crabs, I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll just back Zibanejad. And chat, we do have our squad ride votes. We're going to the Gridiron with Western Kentucky plus 5.5. W. Chelly's coming on. Stick around for the Surge stream, guys. We've got Trent and Chelly taking us through the slate once again, so stick around. And make sure you download props.cash while you're at it. Use promo code BOOKIT for 20% off your first month, chat. We'll catch you on here tomorrow. Same time, same place. W's Chelly for coming on.